What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here. Delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. I have a graphic novel on Indiegogo right now. It's called Deus Vult. If you want a difference from corporate culture, something with real heroism, something without the SJW nonsense, back this today. We're almost to 23,000. It helps support the channel. We're making graphic novels. Maybe someday I'll make a movie out of it if we get lucky. We're making books. We are here to be the cultural difference from the corporations today. And we have a major corporate story going about today, which is very unfortunate. Ugh, I didn't even want to make videos this weekend. And I'm sorry, I don't have my mic with me, so you might get some background noise from my laptop. I am up in the mountains, but this is too important of a story to let go at the moment. And so I am going to talk about the MLB moving its 2021 All-Star Game from Atlanta over Georgia voting law. For those who've been following along with baseball, baseball has been going down this slippery slope of social justice for a bit. Of course, they've been virtue signaling forever over the Jackie Robinson thing, where they have a once-a-year thing where everybody wears the Jackie Robinson jersey and all that. And it was, let's be honest, it was lousy what Jackie Robinson kind of endured back in the day. I don't begrudge that so much, but you see that sort of like corporate holiday where the guy is revered just for existing and not for, being like Hank Aaron, who's the best home run hitter of all time, right? Or Ricky Henderson, who's the best base stealer of all time. Those are real black heroes who like really just did it, and they didn't do it because they were black. They did it because they were just good baseball players. That's a whole nother rant. I'll do that for another time. But baseball has that proclivity a little bit, and when it's that light, you don't notice it so much. But a couple of years ago, I noticed a trend going down when I was writing for The Federalist. When Bruce Maxwell started going off about Trump supporters and things like that, he made up this lie that Trump supporters were going after him. And then it got called out by this restaurant owner who said he was trying to skimp out on his tab. He went through a spiral and then eventually pulled a gun on a lady and then tried to make it about social justice. Tried to say it was something because he was black. It wasn't, is what it came down to. And so I wrote up these articles about this for The Federalist. I wrote it up because he was doing the whole follow Colin Kaepernick and take a knee on the field sort of thing. And he was the only player to do so, and it didn't catch on. And I was very thankful that it didn't. And I was really annoyed at the Oakland A's for allowing him to do that because he was a troublemaker and he was actually a very poor player. And you could tell he was doing it to try to, just salvage his career. And it didn't work. And I thought, okay, so it's over. Unfortunately, then cue last year. We have baseball shut down, and we then get into these parks where they're empty. And so all the baseball players know that the fans aren't there to boo them over their social justice BS, that the fans aren't going to get annoyed with it. So they all start doing the take a knee crap with the George Floyd thing, just like all the other sports did. And they started putting Black Lives Matter on the back of their mounds and, being harassing about it. And at that point, I canceled cable. I canceled my season tickets. I'm like, you know what? If baseball's going to go this direction, like every other corporate entertainment, I'm done. But apparently not enough people noticed this because people weren't paying attention during the whole COVID thing. Nobody was at the ballparks, which is exactly why they did it in such a chicken manner. But that continued over into this year. And so now Georgia's enacting laws they don't like just for voting protection. You have to have an ID to vote. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. And of course, they don't want the Democrats to fall out of power with their voter fraud. And so since that's a thing, the MLB offices, like every corporation, now push and take a, quote, stand for the social justice. And this is a very dangerous trend that they're going and they're pushing, trying to enact laws based on, I guess, what people in the corporate office want, and will harass states because of this. And this is where it's been for years. I mean, if you remember, Disney a few years back already pulled out of Georgia because they literally couldn't even with their laws. Now, what both Disney and the MLB have in common is they're very, very interested in reaching out to China, who, has some of the worst human rights violations, actual human rights, like actually murder and vile treatment of human beings, because they want that sweet Chinese money. But they'll make their stands over just like minor laws that they disagree with in the United States. And it's because they hate you. They hate America. They hate your children. They hate your families. They don't want you to be their demographic. They want the blue-haired weirdos in there clapping for them. And that's the sad part of all these corporations at this point. They're all infiltrated. They're all destroyed. You can't support them any longer. You have to turn it off. You have to get rid of this stuff. And they're never going to get the message because, again, they're infiltrated. You won't expect them to change. You will just distance yourself for it because you can't have your families co-opted and harassed by these corporations. It's not going to be something you can tolerate. And that's what I've done. Again, I've canceled cable. I've gotten rid of my season tickets. I've been a season ticket holder for 10 years prior to last year. Very sad. But you know what? I've got other things to do. And if they're going to start preaching at me, I only have one place I want to be preached at, and that's in my church. So they can knock it off and hit their ball with a frickin' stick and shut the F up, or I'm out. And that's what everybody else has to do at this point. Now, what's sad is I'd say that more than half the league in terms of baseball is conservative. Baseball is a conservative sport by nature. And none of the players will stand up. And so I have no tolerance for that either. I'm so sick of the, quote, conservative people who won't fight, who won't say anything because, I'm just going to keep my head down and, it's none of my business. They do that, and our entire culture just gets destroyed piece by piece. And that upsets me, frankly, more than the SJWs. I know what the SJWs are going to do. I know they're going to push even harder. We're going to wait for our transgendered baseball players to show up soon, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, it's the fault of the normal conservatives who won't speak up, who won't do anything because they're afraid, because they're chickens, that allow this to happen. Now, what would I have them do? If you're watching this, and you might be, I would stage your own all-star game in Atlanta, and I'd say, screw you, we're just doing our own. We're going to play baseball, and we're going to do it ourselves, and try to stop us. And have that fight. Do it. Because you know what? The MLB will back down. They're a bunch of chickens, too. SJWs are always, always, always chickens. They only will go in mobs and do it because they think they can get away with it. So stand up, fight for your rights, back culture that is not going to acquiesce to them, and hit the like and subscribe button, everybody. We'll see you soon.